Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. First, I want to say I am so glad to be back with you all. I hope that you had a great break while I had a great break, but tonight is going to be good. I also want to say thank you to all of the messages that I received. One person even told me they was about to show up at my door, but they also respected that I needed a pause, and I appreciate that. So again, I just truly thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. It's going to be good. I want to say thank you to our guests from May, Amina Maybank, Gary and Anna Marie Warren, and Dr. Tasha Wilson. I do hope that you all enjoyed those series. I had made a little snafu and scheduled Dr. Williams on a holiday. We got to respect holidays. And I'm so glad that I was able to get her back here on tonight. I have seen her ministry and I am so excited to have her. As shared, May was my month that I will reflect on life. And she's going to help us get a head start as we keep doing the work to help others. Dr. Williams is making a major impact in the community, and I'm honored again to have her as a guest. And she has a program that's called Head Start. So we're going to talk about that. And I thought it was so cool that the title was Head Start because in the education world, children go to Head Start before they go to kindergarten, or they may go to pre-K and things of that sort. But Head Start is so important in the education world because it's helping them to prepare for the next step, what's coming next in their education. So I thought that was so cool. But while we're having some little we're working on some stuff on the back end in the studio, okay? So while we are here, who's here? Let's see. Hey, Hope. So glad to see you this evening. Hey, Jazz. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Oh, who else is here? You know, I can't never tell who's watching. And it's okay that I don't know. But if you are here and you want to drop a comment, do so. If you want to just do a like or a heart, do that. Hey, Jenny, you got the right Monday. Jenny said, I was on there last week waiting for you. The 11th. We are here today on the 11th, and it's going to be good. Oh, while I was on the break, I thought of some new ideas. So we got some great things that are coming. Some things will either work out real good or we'll retweak and things of that sort. But know that we are continuing to work to bring the community to you. Mama Wanda, hey, Mama Wanda, stop calling us out. You know, I didn't say no names. I don't know who it was. But I appreciate it because it made me feel special. Like, hey, I got some people that are enjoying what it is that we're doing over here. Let me see if I can help her out as we're trying to get started for our Head Start. Actually, let's take a moment, pause for the calls, because I also realized I didn't do an image for this. I did, but I didn't post it. That this month marks 2 years of us doing Jen Cares. Whew, it's been a good ride. It's been encouraging. It's been motivating. I'm glad that, again, it is helping so many. So yeah. I'm grateful to be doing this. What are some comments from you guys? Have you really enjoyed Jen Cares? Obviously, because you're here, huh? Or, yep. All right. I'll take that as a yes. But yeah, so we have Dr. Chandra Williams. She's going to be joining us shortly. Just having a couple of glitches, and we're going to get it rocking. But while I've been going, what have I been doing? You know, Jen Cares helped me stay a little bit more organized. It's one of my pieces because I stay on a schedule. So when I got off my schedule, when I'm supposed to post, when I'm supposed to create, I got a little lazy. I won't lie. But I got back on because she is ready. She is here. It's going to be good. I am excited. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it being our 2-year anniversary next week when we officially kick off our July series. But I'm really excited. 2 years. It's rewarding to not give up on something, friends, to have an idea, to go forth with it, and to see the impact that it's making in somebody else's life. It's encouraging. It's encouraging. Friends, I do hope that you are staying cool. It's a little warm. I was a little lazy today, but now I'm feeling that heat. It's a little overwhelming. I don't know what's going on. But I do hope that you're staying cool. I hope that you are pursuing your dream, whatever it is that you want to do. And tonight, again, we're going to talk about getting that head start and how that's important. Awesome. Thank you, Jeannie. Good information. That's what we're trying to do. And again, if you have any topics or any ideas that you want us to talk about, let me know. I'm all about meeting some new people. I won't lie. There's sometimes I'll be like, I'm not doing Gen Cares no more. And then I'll meet somebody. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be great for my friends. So I'm like, I guess I'm not quitting, not taking a pause. So I'm so excited for the people that I've met, even during the break, of some great resources to bring to you. So again, if you have any ideas or any thoughts or something you want to know about, that's what we're about. Bringing a community to you, but giving you the information that will benefit you in your everyday living. Yes, wow, 2 years since my pastor worked through my life. Yes, Mama Wanda has been a fan since day one. Her son, Pastor Brian Jackson, was our first guest when we had our connection series, and we talked about church outside the walls. And when I tell you their ministry is doing some amazing things, Garden of Prayer in North Philadelphia, I want to say 2217, but I could be wrong. But over there in North Philadelphia, doing amazing, amazing things outside of the four walls of the church. And this was around a high time of COVID. So just connecting, and they're still doing some great things. I'm going to have to bring them back to do a check-in on how things are going. Yes. All right, so we have our guests. We're going to get this going. Again, tonight we have Dr. Williams. This is going to be so, so good. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready, because she's ready, and I'm in anticipation of what's about to happen. So help me welcome for Head Start, Dr. Williams. Woo! Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm great.
Awesome, awesome. I am so, so happy to have you on tonight. Whew, I'm excited. Let me calm myself down, because this is a long time of waiting. She's going to get us together, friends. But over here at Gen Cares, we start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, "It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." Confucius. Again, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. What are your thoughts on that quote?
Definitely something that I live by. It is a mantra that it isn't how long it takes you to get there, as long as you get there. The goal is to get there. So, sometimes we're concerned with our arrival time, but as long as you get there. And our church motto actually is a church on pace, purposeful, active, concerned, and evangelizing. And we run our own pace.
Can we just pause there for a second? Because that's the hard part sometimes, that pace. Because we feel like we're supposed to be faster. We seeing everybody on social media doing these amazing things, and I'm like, I should be there by now. I should have did that by now. What's the most challenging, I think, of being at ease with the pace that you are going, to know if you're going too fast, going too slow? What would you say?
So, and again, right, the pastor in me is always going to reach out, right? So the Bible says the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, but to the one that endureth to the end. And so, when you are burnt out, when you are depressed, or when you're not focused, when you're burnt out. Because when you're not focused, you're like scattered, and you're looking at everybody, and every time you look at what someone else is doing, you're like, oh, I need to change, and I need to do this. When you're looking at somebody else, you're like, you know what? I think I need to change, and I need to do that. No, the race is given to the one who God gives an idea or a gift or a calling, and you endure to the end. We serve a God who's a finisher. He's a finisher, Jen.
Come on.
He's a finisher.
And I think sometimes we get messed up in that process because it didn't finish when we thought it should finish, how we thought it would finish.
Right.
But if we trusted him, we got to let him do what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, when he's going to do it.
And I think the other thing with that is we don't know when seasons are over.
Whew.
Right. So I think we may think, or we may believe, that this is supposed to be something that might be longer than what we think, or it could be shorter than what we think. And so the key is And I know we're going to get into that in a few, but the key is staying connected to God and staying connected with someone who can help you to identify when your season is over with that.
Now she's all in the theme for July, because July's theme is no apologies. No, making no apologies when it's time for you to go, and no apologies when it's time for you to grow. Because sometimes we don't know when that season is over, and we stay in stuff a little longer than we should, or God tells us it's time to move.
Right.
And it's a girl, she doesn't mean, she be like, I'm gonna find out for myself. And then she is tore up from the floor up because she tried to do it on her own. It's like, well, I told you not to do it.
Right. Things have expiration dates. Right. And so that's why, even project management is important, because projects help you to learn cycles, right? And they help you to learn when you need to pack up and this project is over. So it is important that when your season of this or your season of that or your season of that person is over, because the sad part is staying in a situation, staying in a place, staying with a person longer than you're supposed to, and that thing, person, place has expired.
I was prepared tonight to have my little notebook and pen, because she's already in my business and things, because even I have to remember that sometimes. I be saying, like, I do like the benefit of the doubt, like, it's going to come around, it's going to work around. And sometimes that expiration date has come.
Right.
And it's funny because, like, for seasonings or food and things, if the day has come, I'm like, oh, I'm not eating that. And they're like, it's still got a couple days. That date is gone. I got to let it go. But there's sometimes in my natural life, in my personal life, sometimes I'll be like trying to hold on just a little while longer, when the standard that I have for a seasoning or a food, it's like, no, it has to go. Yeah. And I don't always bring that over. That's good.
Yeah.
Expiration date. Tell my friends about you. Who is Dr. Williams?
So I am Dr. Chandra Williams, and I didn't actually get a chance to share, so I'm going to share in a minute. But I'm Dr. Chandra Williams, born and raised in Philadelphia, a product of the Philadelphia public school system. I have always lived in Brewery Town, which was formerly known as North Philadelphia. My parents, my father pastored United Baptist Church at 25th and Thompson for 54 years. I had the awesome privilege of co-pastoring with him for 3 years. And then in 2012, I actually, he retired, and I actually became the senior pastor of United Missionary Baptist Church. I've always been bivocational, so I've worked in the financial industry, and currently I'm actually the community manager for Chase Bank, which I have the awesome privilege of being the ambassador for that initiative in the city of Philadelphia and in South New Jersey, where I promote affordable home ownership, sustainability, and scaling of small businesses. I direct finances and resources into small businesses, and at times I deliver financial help.
Very nice.
And I'm Trey's mom. So my son is a professional drummer. He's a 2-time Grammy-winning drummer, and he plays both R&B, pop, and secular.
I love it. Yes. One amazing, a lot of hats. How do you keep a balance in all of that?
People, ask me that all the time. They're kind of, amazed at my answer. But I think that what people have to understand is that you have different priorities on different days, right? So every day is not the same, right? There are some days where, the ministry gets more of my time. There are some days that the mother gets more of my time. There are some days where my secular job gets more of my time. There are days where I have to include my family, my mother, my siblings. So depending on the day, that's what depends on the priority.
Okay.
But there are no days or weeks that they are the same, because at any given time, any one of those buckets could need my attention for a different priority. So, it takes a lot of prayer. It takes a lot of time management. And prioritizing your time, and a lot of no's because my yeses are valuable.
My yeses are valuable, friends. My yeses are valuable. It's funny. I get asked that question too, of like, how do you do it all? And a lot of times I don't even know, because I'm always in adding something else that causes value. So is that yes? But definitely that balance of knowing what takes precedence over something else. Because sometimes we can be working on something that's not as important as something else that has a more critical deadline, if you will. So that's good to know. And friends, the same for you with all the hats that you're carrying, knowing that your yeses are valuable.
Yeah, because you know what? If you say yes to everything and you are not tapped in, you could miss a major opportunity because you said no to things that really weren't where God wanted you to be, or really what God didn't want you to be a part of at that time. And so you really have to seek God. That's why it says, seek ye first the kingdom and all of his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto it, because God is going to give you direction. And when you say yes to everything, when something major comes along, your calendar is already filled. And I know and I'm not out here alone, but there have been times in my life when something came along and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my calendar is filled. And because I'm integral and I have character, I would never go back to somebody and say, you know what, I can't do this. And then you look up and you see me somewhere over here and you're like, oh, well, I guess my little thing wasn't big enough for her, right? So she canceled on me. So you just have to be honest, and you just have to know where you're going and where does this opportunity fit in the bigger picture of my life.
I love it. And it's so important because sometimes it's not that it's a bad opportunity, but because you are previously booked, or because sometimes you need to take that moment to like, no, I really need to take a pause today. I can't take anything. And hoping that it's received well. Because, being so busy, you do want to be there. I don't want to say everybody, for a good portion of those people, though. But life happens where sometimes you are able to do it, sometimes you're not. That's good.
Yeah. And people, and you can't let people last minute you because they're last minute, right? So you have to be careful that, nowadays I think you should give people 60. If you could give them 90, that would be phenomenal. But at least 45 to 60 days in advance. Like I think about when you reached out to me, right? We talk about 90 days, 120 days ago, right? And you asked me, would I be able to participate and be a guest speaker on this show? And I think people just assume that, you're going to be available. And so out of courtesy, people should give you a good enough time so that you can have it on your calendar. But more importantly, you will be able to just honestly say to somebody that, I'm just not going to be able to, to do that because I'm leaving something open, or, something. But I mean, a no is really should suffice, right? A no should really suffice. But that doesn't really align with your goals that you have.
Yes. And that's true. Like, and then knowing that you're a busy person and things that sort, sometimes people are like, oh, can you do this weekend? No, I'm already booked up. And I'm like, well, you're always busy. You got to come ahead of time. I had some friends and I give them like, I get them so many days to watch their children so they could go out and things of that sort. And they'll book me like months in advance. Like, hey, can you do this? And then I'll come back a month later. Can you do, we following up.
Right.
And it's that simple, but that small, but it's so big because you're trying to just stay connected with so many different people. It's like a weekend. I think I'm doing one thing. I'm trying to connect with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but then I got to still get to me, So, yeah.
And when you have those multiple, when you wear those multiple hats, back to the question that you asked me, like, how do you balance it? You say, I'm going to allot these amount of days for this. I'm going to allot these amount of days, for like my son and his career. I'm going to allot these amount of days for my family and dinner with my mother and ministry. And then I'm going to have these amount of days for self-care. Right. And I think those are the days that always kind of get filled, but I'm learning now that your body will shut down on you. So there's days, I have amounts of days for every category in my life, and I do not fill them.
I love it. So, you friends, tonight's theme came because when I was doing my research on Dr. Williams, I came across Head Start. And as I was sharing with you guys, I thought it was so cool because like Head Start is before you go to kindergarten, and it's helping you to get those the skills and your battle gear ready so that when you go on the field, you're a little bit ready for kindergarten because you know your ABCs now. You know your 1, 2, 3s. If somebody show you something that's blue and they tell you it's green, no, Head Start told me it was blue. So how did Head Start come about?
So Head Start actually came about because I am a preacher. I actually have my master's of divinity and I have my doctorate of ministries in transformational preaching. So I have earned master's and I earned doctorate. And so it was a couple of things, young ladies who heard the call on their lives to go into ministry, had asked me about, how do I learn how to preach? And, I feel like, when you're preaching, you have just amount of illustrations, you have just amount of, biblical scriptures and they just, enjoyed the preaching. So they asked me, could I mentor them in preaching? And then from there, it was just, of course, when you're in a guest and you're invited somewhere, they read your resume. And so, as you asked tonight, it was, well, how do you balance all of that? How do you juggle all of that? Because, you have your son and at that time I was his momager. And so people kind of asked me to support them in different areas. But one of the main things that I mentor women in ministry and I mentor both male and females in preaching.
Yes. And it's so needed. We talk about so much needed conversation. Sometimes they're difficult conversations. So I'm just gonna keep going on there because there's a lot of people that start preaching, and it's not always transformational.
Right. And and to your point tonight, everybody needs a mentor.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs a mentor. So I even have mentors, right? And so when you find yourself being very prideful, like you came out your mother's womb and you have it all together, the Bible says that pride comes before a great fall.
Yes.
Right. So there's eventually going to be a time where you're either going to hit a brick wall or you're going to say, I plateaued, or, and let's be honest, anything you do, you want to be invited, right? You want to be invited to speak. You want to be invited to preach. So there's going to come a time where you're like, nobody's inviting me. I'm preaching at my home church, but nobody's inviting me to preach out. Or it's, I don't know how to craft a sermon. I need someone to help me in my sermon preparation. Or I just need someone to help me with my life. Right. So I'm a life coach as well. So, and people who are around people need to be honest with people. Right. So whether that person says, I don't need a mentor, there are times when my family says to me, you know what, that sermon, what were you trying to, what were you trying to get across? Or let's talk about that. So even people who are around you ought to say something on the lines of, you know what, I could see you going to the next level if you invested in coaching or if you invested in a mentor. And so, there are times when people just feel like they don't need a mentor. But eventually, like I said, you'll either hit a brick wall, you'll plateau, or something just will knock the wind out of you. But prayerfully, they will come to themselves, or someone around them will say, you know what, you probably would go to the next level if you invested in a coach, because it is an investment. A mentor and a coach is an investment, whether it's financially or whether it's time, it is an investment.
And it's a good investment. I think the part of being open to know what could be better, how can it be better? So like I had somebody reach out, they was like, your videos could get more I don't know who the person was, but they was like, your videos get more, promotions and things sort if you do SEO. I said, okay, I'll look into it. So then my homework is to look into that to see if it does fit. Because sometimes it can be something they're trying to finagle you, get coins and things. But sometimes it is a legit thing if you do your research and things for it to learn more. But it's being open to that criticism, being open to that feedback. And sometimes for many of us, sometimes it might not be as easy as we thought it was. Because you thought you was doing your thing. Like in your mind, when you got to preach, you knew what you were trying to say. And then to hear it didn't hit, it's like, dang, I really took my time in that. So how's that process?
So, and that's the thing about having a coach or having a mentor, that at the beginning of these sessions, there is an established covenant, right? There's a where would you like to go, and where do you see yourself going? And that's what the mentor should ask the mentee. And when the mentee responds with where they are looking to go, then the mentor can either say, I can support you in that, I can help you in that, or that's not what I do, and I can refer you to someone else. But it's that covenant at the onset that a mentor listens to where the mentee would like to go. And then from there, you establish that covenant of this is what it's going to take. And then the mentee has to say, well, I'm willing to give that. Because now you have to be accountable to the plans that we put in place. Because I'm going to hold you accountable. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get you to a specific goal in a specific time. Because again, going back to when we talked about projects, there is an end date. With a coach, right? There is an end date with a mentor. And I think that's what other people don't sometimes don't understand, or they may have been in what they thought was a mentor-mentee relationship, and there was no parameters. So there was no expected end. And so it's very important that up front, that covenant, that working agreement is established, and then those terms, those touch points are established, that okay, this is where we're expecting you to be in this time frame, and and you should have completed X, Y, and Z by this date.
Oh, you said some good things right there. I wouldn't hit on that expected end, but the first part, a little bit second, you said about if it's not something I can help you with, referring to somebody else. And that's big, because sometimes you'll be with somebody and it's out of their scope. And either they'll stay and try to figure it out, or they'll say, you know what, let me connect you with such and such. They can help you because they are the expert in this area, or they have more experience in this area and they can help you with that. So how can you identify, or is there a way to identify if it's kind of like out of the scope of the person that you identified to be a mentor, that it's not in a ballpark, it's not something that they're kind of familiar with?
If somebody comes to me and says, they started off by saying, I want to learn how to preach better, or I want to, become a better preacher. Now, when they start saying, because now I'm not as proficient in Greek and Hebrew, because people study that, like they get doctorates in languages. So there are persons that want to be fluent in those languages. They want to know Aramaic. They want to know Greek. They want to know Hebrew. I have to be okay with saying, I can't help you with that. So I'm going to refer you to somebody else.
And it's so good. As a therapist in the therapy world, it's the same. So if somebody's coming in for an issue that maybe I am uncomfortable with, a topic or whatever like that, or something just doesn't run me right, just feels like a bad connect, let me refer you to somebody else. You have to be aware of that and be okay when somebody's trying to refer you to somebody else. Is what I want to also
personalities share. Right? The other thing is that we might not gel. We might not be a good mix, because I'm kind of no nonsense, because my time is valuable, right? So if we set a goal and I have to keep reminding you and keep, I'm going to go back and we're going to revisit the covenant and we're going to say, this is what we agreed to. And, we've kind of redid this smart plan, or we redid this plan a couple times. And so maybe someone else will be a better fit, because at the end, Jen, we have a reputation to uphold.
Yes.
So if somebody goes out in the street and says, well, Dr. Chandra is my coach, or Dr. Chandra is my mentor, and there is no growth in that person, and my reputation is now on the line. Yes. And so they're going to be like, we know her to be this, and we know, so maybe she's a better preacher than she is life coach, or a better preacher than she is mentor. So, you have to know when that relationship has met its course, and be okay with saying, you know what?
Yes.
I think that we have probably done all we could do together. And, I could either refer you to someone else, or, you could find someone else for yourself.
Yes. And it's so important to do your research, because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, such and such is this. Well, from what I know, that person don't take no nonsense. So either you're not listening to what they're saying, or you just saying that they are, and you doing whatever you want to do. So like, what is now? I want to ask some follow-up questions, because that's possible too, where it's like, oh yeah, she got me, she covered me, or they remember one thing you said, but forgot all the other parts.
Right.
And then what plan? No, we don't have a plan. It's no way you don't have a plan, because she's going to keep you accountable.
Right. Yeah, because if you said, for example, I want to go back to school, and I want to, so we're going to make sure you have created the environment for you to be able to go back to school, be able to do the work, not be distracted. You have to do that work to ensure when you apply for school, there's nothing that's going to get in the way. I mean, and there are times, I think about when I went in both of my programs, I had, the devil got busy, and my father passed in the middle, and then something severely happened to my son in the middle of my doctorate. So those circumstances are extenuating circumstances. But if you say you're going back to college, then let's make sure you're financially able to go back to college. Let's make sure that you are positioned in your career where you can study and you can write your papers. And let's see who you need to be on your team in order to get you through college. Because, okay, you can write the papers, but you can't proof them. You can't edit them. So you need to hire a editor. Can you financially do that? Right. So we're going, if you say this is what you're going to do, then we're going to build the plan. And there are steps that you need to take in order for us to support you in fulfilling this goal that you came to me and said that you wanted to do. Or it could be, you want to save, or you want to flip houses, whatever it is. We're going to make sure that before you do a deep dive into whatever that goal is, that all the surrounding support and all of that is in place before we, go into actually what you came to me and said, this is what I want to do.
That's so important. I'm going to put some people business on. I'm not going to say the names, but I've had so many conversations with people that want to do things and they go to do it, but they have so many different things on their plate. It's not really realistic because something's going to stress you out. You're going to be overwhelmed. So one want to highlight that mentors, coaches are for all ages, because at all ages, we try to do something different. Because we are forever learners. So we want to try something different, try something new. It's good to get somebody that knows it, because it helps you to cut some of the battle in half, because they can kind of guide you and things of that sort. You still got some work to do, but it helps you, because they'll be like, no, you're not going to be able to do that and do this. We got to figure it out. But really having that mindset, and then going back to those justice, because I just had a conversation with somebody that was like, I'm just going to need you to like read my papers and things. I don't really want to do that. My yeses are valuable, and I get that too. And like, I want to help people, but there's so many things that are dear to my heart that I'm trying to get through. I can't keep adding stuff, because then something else goes to another burner, or sometimes get off the stove. And we know when we take someone off the stove, they cool off. To get it hot again, it goes through another process. So really knowing those limits and boundaries that you have, and it's a process.
And that's why I tell people all the time, like, get a whiteboard and make sure your goals are in front of you, because that way when people call you or people ask you to do things, even in my planner, right? I don't have a vision board. I wish I actually had my planner with me. I don't have it with me today, but I used to do the whole poster board thing, but now I do the planner pages, right? So I actually do a vision page that goes in my planner. So when I open up my planner and people are asking me for dates, I get to look at what my goals are, and I get to see, is what this person asking me to do, how does that fit in these goals right here, right? So, you know, I tell people that you need to be able to see it, right? You need to be able to see it. So either a whiteboard where you are, you know, whether it's at your work office, I even put my personal and my work calendars are both on the same Outlook calendar.
Okay.
Because that way I can tell work, I can't do this after hours, and I can tell ministry, I can't do this because this is what my work day is, or these are my self-care days, and these are I think sometimes when we have stuff separately, we kind of miss that. But I have learned, and a mentor actually said that to me, no, you don't have to make it so specific so that if anybody at work has your calendar, but it's blocked so that people at work can see
you're unavailable.
I'm unavailable. And so I would say a whiteboard. If you use a day planner, I would put my goals in there so that when people are asking you to do stuff, you know, kind of merge your calendars. If you're bivocational, trivocational, quadvocational, merge all of that so that you can see where where all of this goes together and what you're not available for. And no, I can't, to your point, no, I can't. I can't. I can't do it because now let me figure out, because I'm probably going to have to charge you because, and I'm just hypothetically saying,
right.
I'm probably going to have to charge you because one of my goals is to get out of credit card debt, right? That's one of my goals. Yeah. So if you want me to edit your papers, how long is it going to take me to do that? And then this is what that costs me.
Yes. It's so true. So my church, we have a publishing group. I've been over it for the last 10, 11 years, something like that. And it's funny because somebody will come and they want editing services. And they're like, oh, yeah, don't need too much.
You're too much.
Am I too much?
What I know is too much. First of all, it's not for you to say it's too much.
Yes.
Right? Because that's like somebody saying to me, oh, can you preach for 7 last words? It's not too much. Everybody just only doing 10 minutes. Well, you only see the 10 minutes, right? But you don't see the work that I have to put into making sure when I stand up, that I am giving God my best, that the person is getting a fresh word, because we hear 7 last sayings every year. So I have to sit with God. I have to, be in communion with God. I have to do some research. So you telling me, well, can you come and do these 7 last sayings? And it's only 10 minutes. No, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into that 10 minutes. So, and I'm just saying this, so, and in most cases, when you do a 7 last words, people are going to kind of give you an honorarium or stipend, like it's 10 minutes. So they're gonna be like, oh, we just giving everybody a little love token, a little something to go get lunch. Yeah, but that 10 minutes represented 7 hours of work. It represented 10 hours of work. So, somebody saying to you, it's just a little bit, and honey, you can't even spell, it's grammatically incorrect. Your footnotes is all, you didn't even, now I got to go research. Your footnotes don't match up. No. And again, that's knowing your worth. And some people need mentors to help them to understand their worth. You need a life coach to help you to understand your worth, because otherwise, what are your goals? What are your long-term goals, right? How are you going to get there if you say yes to everybody? And if your yes to everybody comes with no type of price tag that you went to school for, or it took you 5 to 8 years to be that experienced in that area.
Whew. And when you were talking about the 10 minutes, it also doesn't factor in. So my pastor is pretty cool with like 7 last words because he does like something different. So it's never really like the 7 last words per se. So you get something different. But sometimes if you've been walking with God for enough, when you supposed to be talking about something, sometimes it takes you so many days before he even really deposits something into you. And then you up all night trying to get it together. And he's like, oh no, scratch this. This is what I want you to like, what? And your 10 minutes. Like you said, turns into so much more. And sometimes people put those limits on you saying, oh, it's not going to take that much. I just need you to do X, Y, and Z. My time, my yes is valuable.
And that's why you need a coach, because when you come back to that coach and you explain why you didn't get this done, or why. So the coach is going to say, now tell me why. And then you're going to say this, and that got in the way. Yes. And the coach is going to say, now explain to me why you say yes to that. Yes. If you knew that this was where you are trying to go. Or this is what we agreed upon was going to be done by this date. So, we're oftentimes saying, well, why do I need a mentor? And why? Because you need that trusted advisor in your life, that you trust, that's going to say, now tell me, how did that make sense? Yes. Or you trust that when they say do this, that the outcome from that is going to be positive because they're an expert in that area.
Ooh. Let me tell you another reason why I got Dr. Williams, because as she talked about the no nonsense, you also want somebody that's going to do that no nonsense, because we've all seen a child doing something, acting out in public, and their parents like, okay, stop it. Okay, stop it. After a while, their parent got to say, look, get this together. And even us as adults, or whatever, well, we're all adults, most of us, growing, whatever age you are, put it that way. After a while, somebody has to say, no, Jennifer, get this together. Stop doing this. Stop saying yes. Stop saying no. Because if not, then they're going to let you do that. You're going to be depleted, exhausted, and your goals that you had are unfulfilled when you get to December 31st. And it's like, well, what happened? Well, I had tried all these excuses.
Right.
Because we're not being held accountable. It's taking that value that person who we've identified as that coach, who we've identified as that mentor, who we've identified to hold these things. And when they're saying, well, how's it coming?
Right. And I'm going to, and I asked, like, so what will success in the area look like?
Yes.
Right. So what will, when you say, this is what I want to do. So when will we know that we've hit that goal? Right. And again, and how long is it going to take you to get there?
Yes.
Right. How long is it going to take you to get there? And is it realistic? Right. So you're saying, okay, I want an 800 credit score, right? And right now you have 560, but I want to get this house next year. Well, that's a lot of work you're going to have to put in, right? There's a lot of work you're going to have to put in. And it might not be next year, but it might be the year after that.
Yes.
So you have to trust that that person has your best interests at heart, and that they're going to help walk you through those steps. And they're also going to say that there's some things that you need to cut off and cut out and not do and stop doing, right?
Come on.
And you're going to have to, trust that person that's going to say to you, you can't do this. I wouldn't suggest you doing this. I wouldn't suggest you doing that, because you came to me and this is what you wanted to achieve. And so, it's going to take time studying. It's going to mean cutting out a lot of shopping. It's going to mean, going to bed early, and getting up early, depending on what it is that you want to do. But that mentor is really that person that is an expert, is a senior at whatever it is that you're at senior level for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And they've proven that they could get somebody there because they are already there.
They've proven.
Okay.
Oh, they have receipts.
Receipts.
That shows that it does work.
Receipts. They have receipts. They have receipts. They have receipts because there's a lot of people out here.
Yes.
They don't have receipts. Now they got some YouTube, but they don't have receipts.
And I'm not knocking YouTube. YouTube has told me a lot of different things what I'm trying to do, but it's not the consistency that you need. They kind of just doing it, but you kind of doing whatever you want to do. So again, going back to their name, oh yeah, such and such my mentor. I watch them all the time. But are they doing like those accountability checks? Who's helping you to stay on track? And you need those pieces.
Right. You definitely need somebody who, and even in that, Jen, to actually to be a part of their program, you are going to have to reach out and sign up, and they are going to hold you accountable. But just to say, I get up every morning and I listen to this person and they're coaching me, no, they're motivating you. They're not coaching you.
Yes, it's a difference
between motivating and coaching. Because they're mentoring you. They are motivating you when you get up in the morning, but they're not holding you accountable. And there are no guardrails, and there are no terms, and there's no commitments, and there's no check-ins, and there's no accountability.
You know, it reminds me of like a trainer. So like if you're trying to get fit and things of that sort, that trainer gets on your last nerves. If they're not getting on your nerves, that's probably not the trainer for you, because there's some days that you don't want to show up. There's some days you don't want to lift that weight. There's some days you don't want to run, walk, whatever it is. And sometimes the sacrifice that it takes, sometimes the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes, we're not really ready to give. So it's like, oh no, I can just train myself. Let me just get on this treadmill. But for the goal that you want, it requires something more than just that treadmill. So that's why you're talking to that trainer. That's why you're talking to that mentor, that coach, because they have expertise to be able to say, no, you need to cut out this, cut out that, no sodas, no sweets, no breads, or whatever it is that works best for you. And that's the benefit of having that coach, trainer, mentor. So good. So good.
Well, time is the new currency. And I think people have been saying that for a couple of years now. I mean, I've been saying it in my life, probably for like the last 10 years. And I know that's nothing new. People have been saying it all the time because you can't get it back. But time is literally, currency. It's not the new currency, it's currency. And so think about whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Think about it in the sense of, dollars, right? So how much time did I waste? Not reaching out to someone who has proven that they know how to do this. And so, I would say to anybody, whatever you are trying to achieve, it doesn't have to take all day for you to get there. You just reach out to someone who has already done that. And I'm sure that there are people who have taken what they've done step by step and wrapped it up into a mentoring program, and they can help you. Now, yes, you want to look up reviews, and you want to make sure that there are other people that have utilized their services of coaching and utilized their service of mentoring, but someone has already done what you are trying to do. And I would tell you not to shy away from enlisting the support of a mentor, trusted advisor, so that you can get there and it doesn't take you all day.
I want to hit on that part of you said it's a fee sometimes for their service, friends. And sometimes we try to shortchange people for the expertise, and it's not fair, because they have done the blood, sweat, and tears to be knowledgeable and to be able to even offer this service. And Dr. Proctor used to always say, like, pay for peace. And it reminds me too of like the publishing group. So like the publishing group, we have a fee for how much it is to publish a book. And somebody, oh yeah, but y'all expensive. So you can self-publish, or you could come to us and we do it. There's some people that cost more, and maybe somebody that costs less. But the thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, if you pay for peace, it gets taken care of, and it's getting done right. And that's the part of going to that coach. If you don't know and you want to seek their support and services, you're paying for that cost. You're paying for their time to get that insight from them. And it costs way more than the fee that they even put on it, because it took years.
And that's what I was going to say, that the person that you're enlisting for support paid already.
Yeah.
They already paid to get the knowledge and the experience and the expertise that they currently have.
Yes.
So for me to help you to get along, to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve, it is going to cost you, because I already paid a price, right? I already paid a price. And so now for the knowledge and the wisdom that I have, and so that you don't make the same mistakes.
Come on.
Right? So imagine, from a preaching perspective, you're not going to make the same mistakes. I can look back at my first sermons and be like, girl, when I pull out manuscripts, I'll be like, girl, what was you preaching? Like, what were you saying? Like, what? And all of us can look back on our beginning products and say, what in the world? How did I even put this out? Or how did I even say this? Or, and so you don't have to start where we started. That's the piece is, you don't have to start where we started. You are already starting at a higher level, because we are giving you an advantage over all of the mistakes and just the stuff, the time that we wasted. So you are paying that person for the time that they wasted to reach a level of perfection and a level of expertise that we will never get back. I could never get back 12 years of my life that it took me to reach where I am to be the preacher that I am. I could never get that back, right? So somebody who's just starting out is going to start at a different vantage point, because they're using all of my expertise. And some of that comes with certificates that people paid for, degrees that people are still paying for, time that people spent away from their families, people lost marriages, people got divorced, people's families aren't speaking to them. You know what I'm saying? So there is so much that comes with all of our knowledge and our wisdom. And it's okay. And I tell my mother this all the time. It's okay if people say no. If people say no, it's okay. Trust me, I love my time. Do I love my vocation? I love that too. But I am not upset when people say they can't do it.
Yeah. Because somebody else will come along and will do it. Or if they want it
bad
enough.
Who can, or who wants it bad enough. And maybe you just can't do it right now. And that's what you should say. Like, you should say, I can't do it right now. And that's why people have payment plans. People, people, maybe I can customize. There have been times when I just meet with somebody and I know that the Lord downloads. If a person says this is what they want to do, I can give you an hour session. I can give you, 3 weeks of 3 hours. Maybe you don't want the whole program, but I can give you enough, but I'm not going to stand and just pour out. And then you take that and go over here and no. So I can customize my coaching and my mentorship. And I know that I know there are people that have walked away from an hour session and gone on to do great and mighty exploits just from an hour. They have become serial entrepreneurs from a conversation that I had about what they wanted to do. So I'm supposed to give you that for free, and you're supposed to go over here and make thousands of dollars. And again, the Bible does say, there are some people that are not going to come back and say, thank you. But here's the thing. My coaching is not nonprofit. My coaching is for profit. So people know that up front. Ministry, that has a nonprofit angle, but my coaching is a for-profit business. So,
and friends, you guys have some business too, where you could be collecting coins for your services that you're offering, because it does require work. One of the commenters was Harry Russo. She has a recipe book. It took blood, sweat, and tears to get those recipes perfected to be able to put in a book so that you could follow this verbatim. Because, in the Black community, we say, no, you just keep pouring to the ancestors tell you to stop. Or it's just a knowing that that you put enough in there and it's going to be right when it come out. But to perfect it where put this much into this much into that, and you're going to have this and it'll be good. People were doing reviews like, I followed it to the T and it came out amazing. It took practice to get there. And because she's taking that practice, from being that cook that could already cook, but taking the time to put this in, to know specifically what to do. That's what the mentoring coach is doing, to help you specifically so that when you do it, right, it didn't take you 5 times. You didn't burn it the first time, undercook it the next time, kept it raw the 3rd time. It came out great the first time if you follow the steps.
Right. And again, time. Yeah. Right? Like people cannot get time back. And and I just want, to help people to understand that. And when you said that about the young lady with the recipe books, it took her time.
Yes.
Like that was her time to get those recipes correct, right?
Yes.
It took her money to go to the supermarket and to get those ingredients and to make those things a couple times in order to get it right, right? So again, you are paying somebody for their time. You are paying a coach for their consistency. They are saying nothing else is going to get in the way of them blocking this time off for you. This time is dedicated to you. There's nothing else that can come up on this calendar because we have a cadence.
Yes.
We're sticking to the cadence.
Yes.
And based on the fact that I know that I am good at what I do, we are going to get you to your expected end.
So good. So good. And then in that, having the balance of it all, knowing that, the time, it wasn't in vain. It also encourages the person that you're doing with, because like, oh, somebody's benefiting from it. Or, most of the time we go through some of this, not for us, it is for somebody else. And then to be able to help that other person say, no, this is how you want to do it. This is how we want to help guide you and things that sort. It's rewarding also for the person you're going to, because they're being able to share their legacy of letting you know of how you can do it. And you don't have to fall as many times as she shared, you don't have to, because sometimes you even want to quit. These people that, you're going to, the coach, the mentor, they want to quit. I can't say how many times we did the day of empowerment. I wanted to cancel it 11 million times because it seemed like stuff was going haywire, going a different way. But then to see the impact that it had, that it did go forth and everything worked out smooth as it should, and the people were blessed and encouraged and empowered. Oh, I could do this again,
Right. And when you said earlier, even about your publishing company, right? There are books, right, that I need to publish, that I know in my family they need to publish. So I'm not afraid to say, Jen, you know what? I need you as a book coach. I need you as a book mentor, because that's what you do, right? And I don't have the funds or the time, right, to research,
right,
what size, what cover, what illustrations, what this, what that. So you need a coach, because again, they've traveled the road that you are attempting to travel, and they've made the mistakes. They've gone through, they got the war scars to talk about it, right? This is what my first book looked like. Girl, this is crazy, right? So you give us a different vantage point to start. Right? We start now as a #1 seller because of all of your blood, sweat, and tears. And so, you pay for what you get. You pay for what you get.
You pay for
what you get. And as you said, Dr. Proctor said, you pay for peace.
Yes. You pay for what you get. It's funny because Amazon is the warehouse of warehouses. Anything you want, Amazon can probably get it for you. But sometimes you go for that cheaper price. Sometimes you go for that more expensive price. It depends. You got to find a good one, because sometimes you can get a dud. But when you look at the reviews, you check that out to make sure that it was of worth. And that's something I think we forget to look at too. Like some reviews, it could be a disgruntled customer, but sometimes they are really telling us some good things to know, and we don't take it for its value. And then we get in and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have did this. Well, sunshine, we tried to tell you before.
Right.
But you didn't listen.
Right.
And granted, some people are getting over on people. I was talking to somebody talking about like a program that was doing an educational thing, but turns out they weren't accredited and things of that sort. So it messed up some people, but people don't know to do the research before spending money or investing that time that you can't get back. Right. And then somebody was like, oh no, we don't take that. And you're heartbroken.
Right. I think referrals are, especially when we're living in a society where you can get a graphic flyer, or you can pose, you can look like you have it all together. I mean, really, you could write your own reviews if you want. I mean, you could pay people. So, you really want to try and ask people that you are close to for referrals. So that, again, because some programs are, I think about books and coaching and things like those things are very costly, because you're talking about something that needs 6 months of work, something that needs 9 months of work. So, and you want this person to hold you as a priority. You want this to be a cadence. You want to be able to see results. So if I say, Jen, I want your publishing company to write my book. Well, in 30 days, I'm expecting to see some results. And because I can demand results because I paid for results, right? So if you have a coach and you are not seeing any results, then you have the right to call that person on the carpet to say, listen, this is what my expectation was. You're always canceling. I can never, you're not responding. You're always putting our days off. And yes, so you have a right. And that's why you want to pay with your credit card, and you don't, and people will, challenge me on the Cash Apps and the Zells and all those things, but you can't get your money back if you pay somebody via Cash App, if you pay somebody via Zelle. Somebody who is about their business has a POS system signed up. They have Square or Clover or something like that. There are certain things that help you to know that are triggers that are people professionals at their work. So if I'm paying you $12.99 for a year session, I'm not paying you on Cash App. I'm not paying you on Cash App, because if something goes wrong, I'm going to my bank. And I'm going to say, I paid this person. But that's a red flag when someone is asking you to pay over $1,000, over $500 for a program, and they have no POS system set up. Now, I'm not talking about jewelry and paparazzi, things of that nature, but a major, someone who is doing life coaching, mentoring, to your point, like public coaching someone to be able to, complete a book. A red flag is that they're just not set up to accept payments. I mean, all the signs are there.
And we miss
no one you can really put your hands on to say how's this person work. There's so many red flags that we have to pay attention to when it comes time to even signing up for programs.
It's funny. It was not so long ago it was a theme, or it was going viral, of the red flags and things. And it was like, with so many flags, we just thought it was a circus. And sometimes it's a circus. It ain't the circus you want to be a part of. And that's why you have to be aware or connect with somebody that can really help and guide you. Like, does this look fishy? Does this look off? I'll never forget, I was at a church when I lived in Maryland, and like, a check gonna come in the mail, right? So a check came in the mail. I was like, yes, thank you, God. Thank you, God. I had somebody else look at it, and we was looking at it a little bit more. It was a little scam. And sometimes when it's too good to be true, you got to check it out. God does want to bless you, but the blessings of the Lord make one rich and no sorrow. So that would have been sorrow had you put that check in the bank, because they would have messed up some things because they wasn't working right. So really having somebody that has the eyes and wisdom to know, to really help and guide you before you get yourself in something that you can't get yourself out of.
And that's why and I'm going to say this, being in community, right? That's why having a church home, just being in community. There are a lot of people who aren't in community. It wows me how many people can't ask people for a referral or do you have anybody that is good at this because they're not in community. And sometimes people don't understand, why you need a spiritual family or why you need to make right whatever's going on in your own family or why you need to speak to your neighbors. Because community is very important as it pertains to a referral base and people being able to say, I've utilized this person's services, and they're about their business, or I would give them a 5-star. I would give them a 7-star if I could. I utilize them over and over again, like a doctor or a nail tech, and so it is exactly with the life coach, or whatever coach you need. Again, you talk about stocks and bonds and wealth management, and you got all these companies out here, credit repair and this. It's just so many. People who are teaching people how to flip houses and people are teaching people how to do their businesses. It's really important that you are in community so that you don't run into scams and frauds.
Because it happens.
Once your money is gone, it's gone. And again, sometimes we're just as upset that we wasted our time and there was no result. Money, we always feel like I can get that back, but I can't get back my time.
Yes. And being careful with that money. They were saying like putting checks in the mailbox. People are finagling them. If you could, friends, maybe don't do that. I don't want you to get caught up in that because everybody in the world is not good. Everybody in the world is not good. Oh. This is good, Mama Wanda. This is good. Rashida said, yes, absolutely. You were saying some good points right there. I did want to ask a question. You had a post. It said position, priorities, and praise. What's the importance of your position? Well, we talked about the position. Well, we talked about priorities, knowing the priorities of how important something is and things of that sort. But let's talk about the position. What does that entail?
Oh, you need to be in the right place at the right time. Like that is very important. The reason why you need a mentor and a coach is because you need to be in the right position, right? Because you don't want to miss moments. And too oftentimes in our lives, we are trying to chase a moment that we missed. So when you sign up for a coach or you just ask someone's support or for someone's resources, they are helping you to be in the best position that you can be in order to obtain what it is, whether it's from God, whether it's from your workplace, whether it's marriage or whether it's something you're trying to obtain and you need like your credits financially, like you want to be in the best position. When people are asking, I'm work with people with their finances, and the goal is, if you're saying you want a house, the goal is to put you in the best position. Credit is going to drive the interest rate. So we're trying to help you to get your credit to a place where you can be in the best position to get this mortgage. If you're looking to do this career, like people come to me and say, I want to get into this career. I want to make this career move. Okay, well, go get the job description and let's take a look at it. How do we get you in the best position so that when you walk into a networking room, or you're putting yourself in a position that you're around people that could get you to the person. So why would we waste you being in a room and putting you in that context and you're not in position? You know, I told my son, you know, and he's at a place where, you know, he doesn't have to audition as much because we positioned him to be that person that people know what they're getting. He has a reputation, his name. So he's positioned now that people will just call him because they know what they're getting when they get Trey. So it is important that you are in the best position for whatever it is that you said you want to do, because we don't do second place well. I mean, you know, we've all been rejected, but the goal is to put you in the best position.
And I love that, because when you said like Trey, he doesn't have to do like auditions and things. Let's talk about this for a second, friends, because that means that he knows how to show up on time. That means he knows how to practice the material so that when he is there, he's spot on. If it's something that got to be fixed, he's open to that criticism to get it back in line. He's open to giving feedback to help them to be the best that they can be, because he's been doing it already for a while. This is what it is in position. You know what it is that you're doing. You're qualified.
Yeah.
So that, I'm gonna go back to that cooking thing. If you ain't qualified to be in that kitchen, sunshine, don't go in there. You're gonna burn something. But if you're qualified to be in there, they're gonna want to eat at the table. They're gonna want to have some seconds. They're gonna want to take some home. So that position matters. What work that you do,
and people and people always have their hand up, right? People. Me over here. But are you in the best position?
Come on.
And again, that's why it goes back to, let's make sure everything around you has you in the best position to succeed. That's what a coach does for you. Baby, now's not a good time for you because you got X, Y, and Z going on in your life. Now is not a good time. You just got married. Now's not a good time for you to be going back to school. You should have thought about that
before you got
when you got married, right? So position is very, very important. How can we get you in the best position to succeed? Most people who fail were not positioned properly.
Get in position.
You didn't have a babysitter. Like you didn't. Who's going to take care of kids? Who's going? You know, people want to do these things, but hey, PJ, you know, but what's that song? Hours and hours and hours. Right. You know, like you at this point in your life, and again, it goes back to, did a dream expire? Because now where you are in life. You're not in the same position you were when you first had that dream, or when that thing first, you know, when God first gave you that idea, or you're not in the same position.
Can we sit there for a second though? Because sometimes your position does change. So you shared about, you know, the wife, you know, being married, having kids, so when you were single. So when you're single, you got a little bit more time in your hands. When you get married, it changed a little bit. You had children, God bless you and keep you, because your life is not your home.
I think about my sister and my older sister, and you know, even if she's looking, whether via TV or something, my older sister moved out to Spokane. She's a civil engineer. And the goal was, when they first got married in 1986, that they were going to go out to Spokane, Washington. My brother-in-law was going to be in the military. He was going to retire. They were going to come back to Alexandria, Virginia, around that area, Reston. And my sister was going to go into the Department of Transportation. She was going to move up and all of those things. Well, 86 turned into 2006. Now, my sister and her husband have been in Spokane, Washington for over 30 years. He's retired from the military. She's like number 2 in the state of Washington, ranked only female African-American, all of that. And now my brother-in-law's like, well, the life we've established here, and we both have national paying jobs, right? Coming from North Philadelphia, they are like the Rockefeller, you know what I'm saying? They are like, they are that in Spokane, Washington, right? So the conversation was, okay, how will this money and how will this income in Spokane, Washington, which is close to Idaho, how is that going to resonate in Alexandria, Virginia?
Yes. Ooh.
Will we be able to live this same lifestyle?
Come on.
Because now we are positioned here in Spokane, Washington. Let's look at our context and let's see how moving to Alexandria is going to affect our position. And so it was some tension, and it took a lot of prayer, and it took, even conversations with life coaches and mentors and pastors and all of that, because my sister was like 5,000 miles away from home. And the goal originally was to like get back closer to the family and to be in DC, but things changed.
Yes.
Their children don't even know the East Coast. You had children out in the West Coast who don't even know what the East Coast is. So they created this life out there. So, even when you talk about having coaches and mentors, things in life change.
Yes.
Things in life change. Your position changes.
Which then causes your priorities.
And your priorities. And so you have to enlist. I think about people in Philly, and, sometimes we say, for what I want to do, your life coach may say to you, you know what? You can't do that in Philadelphia. You got to uproot and go to the other side of the world, because for what you said you want to do, you need to be over there.
Oh.
So can you handle that?
That's big ones, because some people aren't ready for that moving things. I saw this post, might have been yesterday, and it was sharing how a different part of the world, how for a pack of diapers, it's like $61. How for a cereal, it was like $10 for a box. And how here, your position here, you're able to afford, the price of things. Gas is expensive. It's at that $5 mark. But in another state, it's at $7 and $8. So knowing your position where you are, you're able to maintain here. You go there, you're going to be crying a different tune, because gas costs a little bit more. Things cost a little bit more.
That's why people, you don't do things sporadic. That's why coaches and mentors are very important. Because again, like I said to you, that person is going to say to you, okay, if this is where you need to go to be successful at what you are saying you're called to do, then let's position you. So that doesn't mean, and some people, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything by what I'm saying, because if it's just you and you packed up your box and you trekked across the country, that worked for you, that's perfectly fine. But a coach and a mentor is going to say, okay, let's figure out the best case scenario for you to get there. And to be able to be sustained for X amount of time. So this is where you're going. All right, let's put this plan in place so that you have this amount of income and these amount of, you got to do your work. Do you have contacts? Where are you going? Who do you know over there? And that's sometimes why people don't want to enlist the support of life coaches and mentors, and because the goal is to put you in the best position. So you're sporadic and you're extemporaneous, where a coach is going to say, no, let's prepare and let's put you in the best position to make that next transition.
Because let's say you might want to go today, but it's like, let's wait a couple of months where you can save some money. Because you got to be able to, where you going to stay in your car? That only lasts for
you don't want to get over there and your credit is still 560.
Yes.
Because you got there and maybe, we put those worst case scenarios. You move there and the person that you were going to room with, that doesn't work out. So now you got to find your own place. So we set that up so that you already have money. So if that doesn't work out, because now it's like we were going to all live in this Airbnb. We were going to, or the job, right? You move for this job and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, right? So let's make sure you can come back. Or what does that scenario look like? Can you come back, or how do you stay out there, and how do we position you to be able to stay out there and move forward?
So good. Dr. Chandra, are you taking more mentees?
I will. This quarter is already filled.
Okay.
I can do some customized, but for the whole 90-day program, I won't be able to take any more people until October. You can sign up now. You can get your spot now because the spots do fill up. I don't even have to advertise anymore. I take 10 people a quarter. I don't have to advertise because there's a waiting list. So I can do some customized one-on-ones third quarter. But if you would like the whole 90-day program, you would have to pre-sign, and that would guarantee you your spot for October, November, December, which is a great time because that actually sets you up for 2023. So if you want to be set up for 2023, you can actually get signed up now for the fourth quarter finish and the jump start, the head start into 2023.
Friends, hear ye me. And though October is good, right now it's good too, because we're entering in the second half of the year. And there's some stuff you said you was going to do in January. You know, our resolutions that we put together, we talked about that earlier this year. Whatever it is that you need that checkup sometime. So y'all be sure to reach out. You know, I might get a checkup too, because you just always want to make sure that you're staying on track with the goals that you have for yourself. Life can get overwhelming. Life is lifing. You hear me? Between the loss of loved ones, you get one thing covered and something else happens. Life is happening.
I actually also do a session on like external and internal influences and distractions, right? Okay. Within my session. And, you know, a lot of stopping and starting comes from like external and internal influences and distractions. And sometimes that can be a major part of why, you know, we stop. Especially when we don't have a mentor or we don't have a coach, because coaches can identify people the closest to us that are influential in deterring us from achieving our goals, right? My sister, I know she is a shopper, right? My sister can say, girl, you need to get this. You need to get this in every color. You need to, you know, all of that. But I have to know, you know, but I say to her, this is my goal. This is my mentor, you know, a year back. Say, you know, it's very important that you let people around you know that this is what you're trying to achieve. This is what you're trying to do. And so, you know, oftentimes we don't know, or we can't identify what those things were that distracted us the first 6 months of the year, what you know, got in our way. And that's why, again, this is a pivotal time, because we talked about time and that you can't get your time back. And we will look up and it'll be December and we'll be going into 2023 and we will not have achieved anything that we said we wanted to do in 2022. So, you know, of course I am available. But if you know someone, I'm here for you just to get a coach or for you to get a mentor, because everybody needs to have mentors in their life.
Absolutely. This was, you know, power packed. I can't wait to listen to this again myself. Because we talked about it, those expected ends. And from doing therapy, I always say, like, when I first started a session, today actually was our last session, you know, preparing for that. Because one, I never know if you're going to come back. I never know if I'm going to unfold something of your onion and you get pissed and like, forget them, I don't need that no more. I think that story. So we're trying to make the best of each moment that you do have. So again, coaching, mentoring is so critical and important in helping us to stay on track with our goals. We have some friends that can help us, but it's a little different. Because if I'm honest, sometimes those friends are supporting us and sometimes they aren't. Blessing and a curse with that. And sometimes they can mean well and think that they are supporting and pushing us. But because we maybe have a track record of trying to stress so many things and not working it out, that mentor and coach could really help us to be equipped with the pieces that we need so that we can successfully show up every time in the right position, having our priorities together, and then get the praise and referrals of, look, she know what she's doing. Come check her out.
Yes. I mean, we all want to hear that well done. Yes. Right? We all want to hear that was a great job, or I'm proud of you, or we want those accolades, right? We say, I don't know, nobody had to, but we do, right? That's a sign of acceptance, right? It's a sign of that, someone saw or heard what I did and they thought that it was great. And so we do want that praise. We do.
Yes. What's something you want us to walk away with? This was really good.
I guess again, it could be me, where at the age that I am in my life right now, but time is going by so fast, right? And so I don't want us to waste time. I want us to be able to set priorities, to be in the best position to actually to get the praise that we want or that we deserve. And so again, I'm going to say it is nothing wrong with investing in yourself and getting a coach or a mentor, someone who has already traveled the road and has been successful at that thing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times, right? Not just one time, but they have repeatedly been successful in that area. It is okay for you to invest in that person or that entity to help you to get to where you are trying to go without having to have the pitfalls, without having to waste time, and without having to waste money. Because, we want to see you get there as quickly as possible.
And since I have not figured out how to do a money tree in my backyard, I ain't trying to waste no money. I don't know about you, friends, but let's not waste time and money if we don't have to. Get the support and those that are experts in this area to help us so that we can come out on top. All right. Yeah. Oh, that was good. So I did tag Dr. Williams in a post and things of that sort. I'm going to share the link as well for her mentor program. If you want to check in, you can get that customized program where you could get on the wait list to get in there for October. And again, we're bringing good resources because a lot of times we think that we get an idea and we think we have to do it alone, or God gives us an idea and things of that sort. But he also uses people to be able to help us. We want to reach out to those people that can help us to be the best version of ourselves and to continue to do whatever it is that we were put here to do. So friends, don't let this good information fall on ground. Let it be good ground and you grab hold to it to really help yourself flourish. So that was so good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm gonna definitely be in contact. Because I'm still gonna do my session. I'm gonna do a session because again, it's some different things that I'm working on, and I feel like I'm managing time good. But it's also good to hear if I'm on the right track. Something else I want to add on. You might be like, no, it's not a good time for you to do that. Yeah, I'm the queen of trying to add something in there. I'm trying to figure it out. But sometimes I also have to say,
we want you to be award winning. We want to look up. And you have given the best to this so that you could be award winning. The goal is for you to be award winning at a few things and not average at a whole bunch of things, right?
Oh, I love that.
The goal is not to be average at a whole bunch of things. The goal is to be award winning at a few things.
Oh, that's so good. Friends, what are y'all saying? Did y'all enjoy tonight? Rashida said, absolutely great. I needed this.
Come on, Rashida, because Rashida's going to be and even in motherhood, right? Yes. I'm even coaching parents, right? There's nothing that you can't get coaching in. There's nothing that you can't get mentorship in, so whether it's being a mother, whether it's being a wife, whether it's being a great employee, whether it's being a great minister, whether it's being a great leader, like whatever it is, I know we got some mothers of the church and we had this, but if you want to be a great mother or a great parent, you need a mentor for that as well.
Yes.
You need a mentor for that as well. Because again, it comes with a lot. There are single mothers with raising their children by themselves, and the father is remarried, right?
Yes.
How do I work through that, right? How do I not get locked up? Okay. So, coaches are there for every area of your life and to help you to achieve what it is you want to achieve. The principles are there. So, Rashid, I just thought about you because she is a mother of 3 now.
Yes. She said, come on here. Yes.
And so, coaching comes in all phases of your life.
Yeah, I was talking to a young lady the other day, and it's funny because sometimes it's like as you're growing up and things of that sort, you then become the person where it's like, oh, you can tell the kids, go get that together. You don't have to do that anymore. You're not to get to do that. So you find out that you're old enough to be that mentor. You're old enough to be that wise person to help them. And I was talking with a young lady, and we were talking about some things related to grief and her being a mom and just being overwhelmed. So we talked about the priorities of sometimes we get flustered over something. They're babies. They're going to get into things. Well, I'm getting sizzies about that. Let them be. And then we'll clean it up together. You make a game of it. I was saying how grief, it comes in waves, unfortunately. We are not accepting anybody else into the crew or losing moms and dads. I just want everybody to know that. You're not accepted into this club. But it happens. And when it does happen, you have to ride the waves of those feelings and emotions. And sometimes that coach can help you to stay at ease of the feelings that you're going through because we're human.
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah. And acknowledge these are true. Like these are true feelings, right?
Yes.
And how do I manage these feelings, right? I can choose to self-medicate and then come down from that, and the feelings are still there. So I have not found a way to process that in a good way, or I can again, get resources to help me to manage how I feel in this moment, so that every time this moment comes up, I know how to manage it, because it's not going to go away. When you lose someone, there are going to be memories that always pull you in to, and you may have more good days than you have bad days, but the bad days can be very bad days. Right? So how do I manage those grief moments when they overtake me? And so you need someone to help you walk through and to manage those moments. How do I feel even as a mother, right? When some days it hits me that, wow, I have this child and I could have done this. So I could have, how do I manage those moments and make and position myself that I can still remember that I am a woman even outside of being their mother.
Yes.
So,
and that's hard too, those different hats. I got to saying, yes, very interesting. She just retired. So it changes now, like her responsibility for waking up early in the morning to get to work and things of that sort is changed now. She's still waking up early because she used to that cycle, bless her heart. God bless. I'm gonna be asleep still at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Unless God wake me up, God bless. But it changes now. So like there's still some things she wants to do. So support as well as getting some new tasks and other dreams that you want to pursue that you weren't able to pursue with the full time, but you're now able to pursue in the retired world.
And how just for that person who is retired, how did you position yourself? Right. Again, so everybody is in a different position in retirement. So you see how some people are like, this is what I wanted to do. Okay, are you in the right position to do that? And if not, then how do we get you there even in retirement? Right. I want to relocate, or I want to start this business, or I want to I've helped people in retirement to to start the business, or to go back to school, or to relocate, or now they're looking for a spouse because they were so into their job that now they're looking for companionship. So how do I position myself to find a companion now? Because I was so into my career, right? So now I'm ready to go out and be on this dating scene and to have a companion. And that's a job within itself. And so you don't want to waste time with your emotions and all of those things. So even in retirement, I help people who retire, right? I help people who have retired. what do I do at this next phase of my life? Because you get about 60 days of sleep, then you like, okay, what's next?
Yes.
Right? It sounded good. I'm gonna sleep and I'm gonna wake up late. Okay, 90 days of that, you like, okay, now what's next?
Yes. Because you want to find someone to keep yourself fulfilled, and it's so important. Mama Wanda said this was a great masterclass, wasn't it? Dr. Williams got us together. Now, Rashida, you said I'll be reaching out. I'm holding you accountable to that. You send me the screenshot when you did reach out, and I'm gonna check in and make sure you did too. Because while we holding each other accountable to reach whatever goals it is, making sure we're all in position to be able to, live our best life. It's funny. When I was thinking of you as well, I was at a service you were at. I don't remember if you were speaking or not. Nevertheless, she's also a songwriter, friends. And the song was "Live Where I Want to Live, Drive What I Want to Drive, Make What I Want to Make." I was like, yes. And those are the things that the coach and mentor in her will help you to do.
Be what I want to be.
Be what I want to be.
And be what I want to be.
Be what I want to be. Those things that you want to do.
All things are possible. With God, all things are possible.
All things.
All you need is a plan. You can live where you want to live.
Yes.
You can drive what you want to drive.
Yes.
You can make what you want to make, and you can be what you want to be. You just got to have a plan.
You just got everything. You see, I got to make that into like a shouting track with your son. You want to get on the drums and things. I'm gonna buy it. You let me know when it's available. But friends, that's what's going on, and that's what we wanted to share tonight. The importance of having somebody to guide you. You don't have to do it on your own. There are people out here that can help you, that does want to help you, that's excited to help you, because it's like, look, if I can help somebody else not make as many mistakes as I did. And not to say that you won't have mistakes, because sometimes you're going to listen and not listen. I already know, because y'all be like, I'm grown. I know what I'm doing. You're right. But she came to the coach and the mentor for a reason. So take in what it is they're giving you and run with it. And I promise it'll be amazing. This was good. She said, absolutely, Pumpkin. I will. All right. Because why? We're going to live where we want to live. Make what we want to make. Drive what we want to drive. Be what we want to be. Yeah.
Listen, and you can't get mad. Here's the thing. 6 months from now, you can't get mad at anybody but yourself.
Come on.
In the same place.
Come on.
We have short-term goals, which are under 6 months and under. We have intermediate goals, which are up to 2 years. We have long-term goals, which are 5 years and over.
Yes.
You can't get mad at anybody if you are in the same place this time next year.
Ooh. She done told y'all. I'm sorry, she done told us. So let's make sure we're doing what we got to do so that we have shown progress, because we're trying to be award-winning.
Listen. No, we're not doing nothing half-stepping.
That's it.
We were not created to be average. We were not created to be regular. And only people who are jealous of people are the people who set out or who only work at a regular level.
Yes.
So you kind of are resentful of anybody else who has goals and plans and actually work on those goals and plans. And we're not going to be that person. We're not going to be that person where we're always saying that that's team too much, or every time I turn around, that person is doing something or achieving something. No, they have plans and they stick to their plans. So you can't be upset that people have people in their lives that hold them accountable to it. Here they come with their kids and listen, my son know when we showing up to be award winning.
Yes.
My nieces and nephews know. Listen, nothing about us is going to speak to the fact that we didn't put work behind it.
So good. This was good, friends. I hope that you have enjoyed Jen Cares being back. I know that you've enjoyed tonight. This, as Mama Wanda said, was a great masterclass. So again, we all be sure to check out, the services that we're offering, because you can't say that it's not a service available, because I'm telling y'all it's some good services. All right? She's going to get you good and ready in position, helping you with your priorities. And then I'm going to praise you, because I'm going to be excited for you doing it. Yes, Mama Wanda, award-winning. Mama Wanda, you're award-winning too. Award-winning. This was good. I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate this. Oh, yes. I got to get my notes together. I'm going to be checking in, though, because, again, I'm going to have my little custom as well to make sure I'm good.
Okay.
And friends, I'm a post when I did or let you know when I did do it, because I'm being accountable to you all too. Because again, I don't bring people that I don't support either. Most of the people I've either bought a book, supported them in some kind of way, because we are about bringing the community to you, but also I'm helping the community as well. So thank you again so much for joining us. May you have a great, great evening.
You're welcome. You too.
Yes.
And everybody have a great rest of the year.
Yes. Thank you. So awesome. That was amazing. We had the amazing Dr. Williams. Yo, that was really good. When you talk about a masterclass, she was spot on. Friends, don't forget our quote of the day. It does not matter how slowly you grow. How slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. So friends, you can't stop. Whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, don't stop. Be sure to connect with Dr. Williams. It's going to be amazing. I'm also going to give you a little tidbit. While I was on break, I came up with the idea of doing the meetup. And the meetup is where we'll come together once every quarter. We'll have an outing of some sort to just encourage and strengthen, give you some accountability and some encouragement to keep on doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. I get several calls from friends and they wonder, like, should I still be doing this? Should I give up? Should I stop? Is this even for me to be doing? Guess what? I'm bringing together some purpose-driven, like-minded people. We're going to have a quarterly gathering once a month, every 3 months, and it's going to be good. So if you want to be a part, drop your name down below, and I'll be sure to get in contact with you. I'm hoping for our first event to be in August. So again, we are working because we want to encourage you to make sure you're in position, that we get our priorities together so that we can get some praise, because we are award-winning. Be sure to join us next week as we kick off our July series, No Apologies. We're going to go and we are going to grow. It's going to be amazing. So join us next week as we will have Christian Mills for Go. You know what? Let me show my face for this, because the theme is no apologies, meaning sometimes we have to go. Sometimes we have to grow. And guess what? We are given no apologies for doing that. Why? Because it's something that has to happen sometimes. For us to be in position, we have to leave some things. For us to be in position, we have to grow for some things. And we're going to talk about that in the next 2 weeks. So again, Rashid, I got you. I'm putting you down on the list. Our first event is going to be in August. I'm going to start an email blast so that everybody could be a part to know what's going on. It's going to be amazing and encouraging. Anybody could come. It's free events. You just pay for whatever it is that we're doing. Because one, I'm not trying to make money off of it. I'm just trying to encourage somebody else to keep pursuing their dreams and goals. So be sure to tune in, because that's going to be coming soon. I told you about next week. I don't have anything else for us tonight. Let me see. Yes. So again, I love you all for real. I'm so glad that you joined us. Thank you so much, Melissa. Welcome back. Great segment. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Be sure to share this with a friend, so that they can learn how they need that head start, how they can benefit from that coach, how they can benefit from that mentor. So again, be sure to share it. I appreciate you for tuning in. I love you all for real. I'll be back next week. I promise. I might not even take that long of a break next time, because the love I was getting, I felt it. I don't want no problems though. So again, we'll be back next week. I love you all for real. Until next time, good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and, most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here, as we specialize in bringing the community to you.